Queensland LNP Senator James McGrath and One Nation Chief of Staff James Ashby. Well, gents, welcome. I tell you what, James McGrath, you've got the NT government, the CLP government, South Australian Libs, now the New South Wales Nats are all abandoning net zero. I know you've got your review, but you're not going to be able to sit on the barbed wire fence for much longer.
No, we won't, but I'm happy that this is happening because it's very important for the Liberal Party and the National Party to listen to our grassroots and be reminded of our core beliefs and core values. And if we take forward this review of our policies and don't listen to our grassroots, well, we're going to be in a world of pain. So I welcome the contribution. I'm a senator. I spend a lot of my time going around to party units and I'm aware of what party members and supporters think about various issues. We've got to get energy policy right. We've got to make sure that we don't crash the economy. We do want to reduce emissions. We've also got to remember that Chris Bowen is the one who's in charge of it at the moment, and he's the one with his reckless renewables who's actually forcing up people's power prices and is the one that's damaging Australian industry. Now, I think we'll get to the right place, but it will take a few weeks and hopefully the barbed wire doesn't give us tetanus.
I will say then, for code, I'll decode your answer there for people at home. If you are a member of the Nats or you are a member of the Libs, what James is actually saying, if you want net zero to go, you basically got to force our hand, get out there and vote for it. Tell us in no uncertain terms you want it to go, and we'll be forced to do the right thing in Canberra. So that's the message. You tell me if I'm being a bit strong there, James Ashby, but I think that's what he wants to hear from the grassroots. Talk to me about this stabbing, a 62-year-old man in Footscray on the weekend. He's been taken to hospitals, critical injuries, we're told. Very sadly, he is unlikely to survive. This is yet another real-world consequence for Labor's bungle because this man was a freed immigration detainee.
Yeah, and he's one of 178 that were let out by this Labor government under a High Court decision called NZYQ, of which, of those 178, we had 37 sex offenders and 72 violent offenders, of which there's been now 28 of them arrested and put on around about 100 federal criminal charges. And this is all in the meanwhile, Peter, $255 million. That's just over $250 million worth of money was dedicated by this Labor government to somewhat keep the Australian public protected from these individuals that are freely roaming our streets. It hasn't worked. And as a result, we've got another person that it seems is going to die. A horrific death, I might just say. The allegation is that his head was stomped on several times before Border Force could actually get to this person who was being monitored. So it's pretty clear that despite the monitoring, despite the $250 million put towards trying to keep the Australian public safe from these individuals, it is failing. These people should be round back up, put in detention, and those who are not eligible to stay, get them out of the country.
And we're now about 2.5 years on since the Coalition and One Nation supported those urgent protection measures, of which the government has never, ever used to deal with this cohort. Just something that came up, I saw this today, James McGrath. I'll put it on the screen. This number of Australians in Israel, in Iran. Now, 350 odd is the number, 300, sorry, there in Israel. That didn't really surprise me. Thought perhaps it would be higher. But I'll tell you what, I was shocked to find we've got 350 Australians or dual nationals in Iran. Does that surprise you, James McGrath?
It does, because I think if I had a choice between living in Iran or Australia, I think it's pretty obvious you want to live in Australia. So I don't know why anyone would want to live under the dictatorship and the theocracy that is ruling Iran at the moment. And I would hope that those Australians who are in Iran come to their senses and believe that coming to Australia and living in a liberal democracy with all our freedoms is a better way, rather than staying in a country which is ruled by a bunch of men with beards.
I'm a bit dubious about their background, but we'll leave it at that. Hey, $2 billion we're told will be passed through to poor old car buyers with these emission standards, James Ashby.
Yeah, isn't it ridiculous? And they're saying right now that the used car market is going up. Why is that? Because car manufacturers are putting in reduced cylinders in vehicles to try and meet these emission standards that the government have set. I look at it this way. I think car users in this country are going to end up like Japan. After 10 years, Japanese throw their cars away because it becomes too costly to keep a car of that age because there are more and more costs attached to registration, and you've got to go and get them reviewed every 2 years. I feel sorry for anyone who can't afford a new car right now, but I don't think any subsidies should be offered to these renewable vehicles.
Not wrong. Out of time, Jen. It's great to have your company. See you next week.